Get out the way. Who got a watch? Who got the time? I'm raising the clock. Even in my feelings, grind don't stop. Got big dreams, want big rocks. I got plans, you got talk. Heard it's real cheap, but it's really gon' cost. I'm tryna get these ends, building empires with my friends. I'm about handling my business. No time for stress over bullshit. You think success is an option? I'm tryna get this shit poppin' like woo. Big moves, my rules. Y'all heavy on the tweeting. I'll disappear a whole season like woo. Who said they looking for me? I'ma make.
Hey, DeMarie TV family. So everything I say is alleged. It's in my opinion, and it is for entertainment purposes only. So what I want to talk about today is Carlos King on his Instagram. He posted yesterday a message from one of his raindrops. She was very grateful for having an opportunity to attend his live podcast. She's a creator, and she was really happy to meet Carlos King because she considers him to be, a great producer, and she is a supporter of his. I bring this up and I mention this because recently Carlos King has been attacking content creators. He's shutting down pages, striking pages, doing all these things against people who support Melody Cherie, who is the main cast member on Love and Marriage Huntsville, which is one of the shows that he produces. So because Melody Cherie supporters showed up abundantly for the live podcast, I would say probably 95% of the people in that room were in support of Melody Cherie. He feels some kind of way about that we're talking about that and voicing that. Everyone knows that to be true. There were several people who were able to get some lives out of that podcast. We were able to see what was going on in the room. Melody hosted an after event in which a large portion of those same people that showed up to the lives were invited to a party that she threw for the Millimeters. This was Millimeters showing up to support Melody Cherie. If Carlos King honestly believed that he was the focal point of the live podcast that he did in Huntsville, he would have a lineup where he would be visiting other states. It would have been public. The minute this man saw that live podcast sell out very quickly, he would have done tour all over the country and posted those dates immediately if he thought the lure was himself. So what he's feeling is some kind of way that we're making it known that nobody came to see him. Yes, this woman did, but this is one woman out of a whole group of people. I'm not saying Carlos King doesn't have fans, but the people who showed up in that live podcast showed up for Melody Cherie. If Carlos King believes that everybody who showed up there showed up for him, why don't we have more tour dates? Why don't we have additional dates that are sold out in a matter of days? The thing about Carlos King is that he wants to come off as this great producer with all these fans and all these people who love him. The problem with that is he's not a great producer. He's actually ineffective at being a producer because he wants to be the focal point. He wants to be the star. It's hard for you to focus as a producer if you're always trying to get shine. You always have to be a part of the production. You always have to be the topic of the conversation. That's the struggle with him. He does not know how to back up and let the show do its thing. He has to hop in, attach himself to everybody, befriend everyone, and then try to produce the show as well. And the problem with that is you do not maintain objectivity. The personal relationships that he has with a lot of the people on the shows is what contributes to a lot of issues with the show itself. If he didn't build all these personal relationships with all these people, he wouldn't keep certain people on shows way past their time. The shows would thrive. They would do better. You would have people coming in and the show would expand and you'd bring in fresh new faces and you keep new storylines. It would not be hard for him to sever relationships to maintain the integrity of the show if he did not form all of these relationships with people. Now, that argument can go two ways. Carlos King has a very successful YouTube channel in which he interviews people that he is able to interview because he kept those personal relationships with people. Now, from what I see, the gift of Carlos King is that he can identify who to attach himself to and how to utilize that person for his greater good. No, 1 million people didn't watch his interview with Nene Leakes because of Carlos King. They were watching for Nene Leakes. They didn't show up in Huntsville for Carlos King. They showed up for Melody Rogers. But he manages to make people think, in order to get this done, you have to, come through me. I'm the person for you to come through if you want this. How hard would it have been for Nene to utilize her own YouTube platform, bring in an interviewer to interview her on her channel, and she would have got the 1 million views. Melody Cherie Rogers can list podcasts all over the country, and she's going to sell out wherever she does that because she was always the lure. She's the person. Now you have Carlos so intertwined in the minutia that he feels like he has to go out and strike and target YouTube channels of people who have something negative to say about himself, his cast, or anyone wanting to share information about the live podcast or anything else, because he wants to now control the narrative around him. But see, the beauty of living in America is you have freedom of speech. It's a constitutional right. We have the right to speak our opinion. And if you no longer want us to show clips of Love and Marriage Huntsville or to utilize certain photos or information to do that, that's fine, but it's still not going to stop our opinion. That's not going to shape how we speak of you. It's not going to change how we feel about you. Every show that you drop from now on, you've lost a huge substantive audience because you cannot do right on the biggest show you currently have. You cannot do right by the lead cast member, the woman who brought the idea to you. You cannot do right by her because you thought it necessary to formulate relationships with all these people to the degree that you are not able to see when someone is harming her. A DV charge is serious. Revenge P is serious. Arrests are serious. Fraud is serious. Is it more important for you to protect the people on your show, or is it more important for you to protect the Black community from which they're stealing money? These are ethical questions that any producer of any other show would have easily have been able to make a call on. He can't make that call because he stepped out of the producer role into the friendship role, into the executive producer role. He's all over the place, into the interviewer, into the orchestrator of who shows up at whose expos. He's doing way too much. He's now working actively to make the show a success by providing storylines to the cast members. He's networking and pulling in favors with other people so that they will show up on people's panels to make the story a success. At some point, Carlos King is going to have to make a decision. What type of producer do you want to be? Are you going to do the job of producing the show, securing the funding, hiring and firing cast members? And firing. That is a part of the job. Overseeing the production process, managing the advertising efforts. Are you going to go there, or are you going to keep delving into other aspects of the role with Love and Marriage Huntsville? Are you just going to try to be everything? Friends, the person who orchestrates what they do on their off time to create storylines for them. Are you going to be the person who makes up all these scenes and storylines for your cast because they run out of material and you know that they run out, but you're not willing to get rid of them because you're too intertwined? Or are you going to just simply produce a show? Huntsville has had it with the Scotts. So now these people with all these issues in Huntsville are moving to Atlanta. So they're going to go there and fake it till they make it. They're going to go there. They're going to make all these wonderful flyers and put up all these websites and charge people money and have all these people pull favors for them so they can get people to speak at an expo. And they're fighting million-dollar lawsuits with fraud claims all over Huntsville. This is not made-up information. Anyone can go to the courts in Huntsville, go to the clerk of court. The lawsuits are there. They're filed on numerous occasions. They're there all the time, constantly in court. You have vehicles being seized because people haven't paid debts and they're throwing big old bashes and spending money and posting it on the internet because in their minds, it's more important to appear to be wealthy, appear to be great business people, appear to have all these things than to handle actual business. A good business person pays their bills. They don't throw bashes and get dressed up in fancy clothes with signature cocktail drinks, and they're getting vehicles levied for debts. This is the information that Carlos King does not want people to hear. But we're going to keep reporting on it. We're going to keep speaking about it. The main news stream is going to continue to pick up on this story, and I can't wait until someone asks Carlos King to come in for an interview and holds his feet to the fire publicly about all the shenanigans that is happening in relationship to himself, and these shows. So drop me some comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you're made aware every time I post a new video. Have a good one.
Get out the way. Who got a watch? Who got the time? I'm raising the clock. Even in my feelings, grind don't stop. Got big dreams.